Welcome. In front of me is a Samsung Galaxy A52, and today I'll show you how to go through the setup process of this phone. Now when you boot it up for the first time, you'll be presented with this welcoming screen in basically every language, really reminiscent of Apple setup screens, but anyway. So from here, simply tap on the almost only button that you can to select your language. So I'm gonna select English. From there, let's tap on next, and we have the option to connect to mobile network. Now basically what it wants us to do is insert a SIM card, but we can just completely skip it and not insert it. SIM card, it's kind of whatever. You can insert that SIM card at any moment, and you don't need to do any extra steps apart from inserting it in. So this page for the setup is kind of useless, I would say. But anyway, let's go to the next page, where we'll have some agreements that we need to check on, because nothing welcomes us better into a new device like end user license agreement for the device that you just bought. So let's select the first one, and if you actually are interested in what you're agreeing to, you can tap on the details right here to read the entire book that they have about whatever you're agreeing to, and from there make sure you check it on. The first one, the rest of them are optional, and then tap on next. Then we have the option to connect to Wi-Fi. Now this will be a little bit different for some people. I'm not exactly sure how this is justified, but as a completely brand new device, meaning that you literally just unsealed it from the stickers and stuff like that, connecting to Wi-Fi is not skippable for some reason. Now I'm not exactly sure if this is on this phone, but Samsung is one of those companies that basically doesn't allow you to skip Wi-Fi connection if the device is completely brand new for unknown reason. So if that is the case for you, then just simply connect to some kind of network if you have to. But for everybody else that doesn't need to, or it's a second-hand device, you should be able to skip it. So that is what I'm going to be doing here. Now, skipping it doesn't really do anything. The only thing that I'm going to be missing now is the ability to log into Google account throughout the setup process, and also date and time won't be set automatically, so this will show up throughout the setup process for me to actually choose the date and time for myself or see if it's correct. So anyway, moving on, we have on the next page the copy apps and data, which allows us to basically get a different device and copy all the content from the older device to this one if we wanted to. But I'm setting it up as new, so I'm gonna go with don't copy option. And there's the date and time. Now it actually looks like it's correct, almost off by like half an hour, and a completely different month and day. So January, March, I think it's like the 29th, there we go, and it's 30 something, whatever, there we go, close enough. So let's tap on next, and from here we have Google services, location, scanning, and send user and diagnostic data. So you can read exactly what it does, or at least whatever they tell you that it does, and if you don't like it, disable it. I'm personally not a fan of any of those, so I'm just gonna turn them off and then scroll down and tap on accept. Then next page we have protect your phone. So this is where you can set up fingerprint, face recognition, PIN, pattern, password. Now I'll mention that if you want to choose one of those two first ones, so face recognition or fingerprint, you are still required to set up a different method of unlocking, a physical one, and you have a choice between PIN, pattern, or password, so you do have to choose one of those as well. Now the reason for this is because fingerprint and face recognition may not always work, and that is, as an example, if something happens to you, you might not be able to unlock it, or if something happens to the phone. So as an example, if you drop your phone and the screen cracks, so assuming screen cracks in a really unlucky way that it just kind of goes over the camera and your fingerprint sensor, that might mess up the actual fingerprint and face recognition, making it not recognize your inputs, and thus basically not allowing you to access your device anymore. So that's why there is also a way to unlock it more physically with a PIN pattern or password that has no like ways of failing in a way. Now I'm gonna skip this anyway, but you can set it up as if you want to. So skip anyway. Give it a moment, and this is probably the page where it tells us, yep, to log into Samsung account. So I would call this complete bloatware, but I guess to each their own. Some people might find use of it. I completely don't. I despise this, and I'll explain my reasoning for this in a second. So if I tap on skip, it brings up this completely crappy list of things that you're missing out. So it looks like Samsung wants to add Galaxy or Samsung words to everything that Google already offers and has been offering almost since the release of Android operating system. Maybe that's a little bit stretching it, but yeah, Samsung just tries to, I don't know, get more people in their ecosystem, which we don't really care. Now I might be alone here, but I'm gonna justify this quickly. So almost every one of these options right here has an equivalent that comes baked into Android and has been coming out for at least several different iterations of it, for like, I don't know, 3 at least, as that's where I started using Android, and I know that they were there since then. So anyway, let's start off. Samsung Cloud has alternative in Google called Drive, or Google Drive. Then we have Bixby, which Google, or Hey Google, has been out for, well, it was the first one out. And this one, from what I remember, is kind of trash anyway. Then we have Galaxy themes, because you know, Play Store doesn't have any themes. That's kind of sarcasm. It does. Find My Mobile, Find My Device. Again, nothing really special here. Samsung Pass. Basically, Google already comes baked into it. If you log into the account, it asks you every time if you want to store your passwords and stuff like that, and unlock it using a fingerprint, so useless. Then we have Galaxy Store, which is the poor man's Google Play Store. Again, it has a better alternative, making this completely redundant. And the only thing that I think might be actually worthwhile here, for not everybody, just small majority of people, or small amount of people, is the secure folder. Now, Samsung, I believe, or not Samsung, but Google actually does come, I believe, with like some kind of securing folder option where you can encrypt it. But this one will be most likely way more secure and probably work better. But this is the only thing that I would say is a decent option here, primarily because of the Knox security. But if you don't have any use for this, you don't care about, I don't know, protecting your data really well, which it's understandable, because this will basically encrypt it and you will need to unlock every time you need to access something. Then if you don't need this kind of encryption, this kind of protection, then basically this entire page here is completely useless to you, just as it is to me. And that's why I'm calling it complete bloatware and waste of time here. So once we skip this, we can now finish up the setup and have access to everything that Google actually provides, which is better, at least objectively by me. So yeah, there we go. Setup is now completely finished. So this is how you could go through the setup of the device, and if you found this very helpful or informative, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.